Aloha and welcome back to Stick with the Winners. This series of videos focuses on providing background information and additional details concerning our new book, Stick with the Winners, How to Conduct More Effective 12-Step Recovery Meetings Using Conference-Approved Literature. This session we're going to be talking about topics for your group. People ask my dad all the time, well, what topics can we cover during these meetings? And we'll be getting to that. So now I'd like to go back to my dad, Dick B. Dad, take it away, please.
Dick B. again. As you establish and conduct a conference-approved literature, stick with a winners group, or modify an existing group along the lines we've been discussing, please keep in mind the purpose of the meetings, the underlying mission of the group, the objectives desired, and your freedom to pursue and present the content in any manner you deem will effectively serve God and His Son Jesus Christ. Be true to the precepts in the Bible. Utilize appropriate conference-approved literature wherever possible. Avoid opinions and conjecture, and advance the particular program or fellowship or meetings you conduct. There are myriad ways of achieving the suggested results. Many are already being employed. And as writers, speakers, and content providers, our objective in these videos are, first, to acquaint Christian recovery leaders, workers, sponsors, and newcomers, and to train them as desired about the first century Christian principles and practices of early AA and its Christian predecessors when it came to working with alcoholics and addicts. Next, to state specifically, accurately, and truthfully the documented facts about healings of alcoholism and other addictions by the power of God, about the success of relying on God in helping alcoholics long before AA was founded, about the Christian organizations that preceded AA and were highly successful in helping drunks and derelicts, about the Christian origins, history, founding, original Christian fellowship, program successes, and later changes of the old school AA founded in June 1935. Next, to shine ample light on the role that God, His Son, Jesus Christ, and the Bible played in this recovery work, and on the role they can still play today. Next, to fully and specifically articulate the details about old school AA as it was framed and developed and utilized after the founding of AA in 1935. Next, to fully and specifically articulate the portions and language of conference-approved literature which support the application of old school first century Christian AA techniques in today's recovery arena. Next, to dispel the myths about higher powers, nonsense gods, and absurd names for God. Next, to discuss the scope and breadth of the conference-approved literature process, as well as the wide open door it still leaves truthful presentations of exactly what early AA did. Lastly, to keep in mind that the primary purpose of the recovery movement is to help still suffering alcoholics, addicts, and others with life-controlling problems, as well as the families and others impacted by addictions and other life-controlling problems, to overcome their maladies and addiction-related problems by means of a recovery program of fellowship and with the power of God. In harmony with the objectives just listed, I'll read you the material on pages 82 to 84 of Stick with the Winners, How to Conduct More Effective 12-Step Recovery Meetings Using Conference-Approved Literature, a Dick B. Guide for Christian Leaders and Workers in the Recovery Arena. Beginning here, topics for study meetings. As previously stated, scarcely a day goes by without the authors receiving a phone call, email, or other communication asking how to set up a recovery meeting or group consisting of AAs who've been rebuffed in meetings for discussing their religious beliefs and convictions. The solution, we believe, is to follow the suggestions of this guide and then have instructive meetings with topics that cover old school AA origins, AA history, AA's founding, the original Christian Fellowship Program, and AA's tremendous early success. And to teach the ingredients of successful first century Christian fellowship meetings, incorporating old school AA principles and practice, and to base such teaching on conference-approved literature. And here are some suggested topics for such meetings to be covered over a period of many weeks. First, a group of 9+ weekly meetings teaching the subjects contained in this guide seriatim. Next, a meeting on the importance of daily contact, daily sponsorship, and daily fellowship, inclusion of families and children, and those in NAAA or Al-Anon, and providing for fun, recreation, outings, dances, birthday parties, conferences, sports, movies, and meals together. Next, the importance of the Big Book and of other conference-approved literature as a foundation for applying old school AA in today's 12-step and recovery fellowships. Remember now, we're discussing some possible topics for each meeting. Next, other resources, including the ones just covered, such as books by Dick B., especially the Good Book and the Big Book, and the Dick B. Christian Recovery Guide, Bibles, such as the Life Recovery Bible and King James Version, guides, and other historical materials on the liturgy table. Next, the biblical roots of recovery, looking at Dick B.'s The Good Book and the Big Book AA's roots in the Bible. Next, the Ann Smith roots. Bill W. called her the mother of AA, and that can be found in Dick B. Ann Smith's journal, 1933 to 1939. Next, the Quiet Time roots. That can be found in Dick B., Good Morning, The Upper Room, and the Runner's Bible. Next, the Oxford Group roots. Dick B., the Oxford Group, and Alcoholics Anonymous. Next, Reverend Sam Shoemaker's contributions. Bill W. called him a co-founder of AA, and that can be found in Dick B., New Light on Alcoholism, God, Sam Shoemaker, and Alcoholics Anonymous. Next, the literature early AAs used. That can be found in the books early AAs read for spiritual growth, and Dick B., Dr. Bob, and his library. Next, the roles of Dr. Carl Jung, Professor William James, and Dr. William D. Silkworth. Next, the Book of James, and that can be covered in Dick B., the James Club, and the original AA program's Absolute Essentials. Next, Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, and that is covered in Dick B., the James Club, and the original AA program's Absolute Essentials. Next, 1 Corinthians 13, Dick B., the James Club, and the original AA program's Absolute Essentials, plus Henry Drummond's The Greatest Thing in the World. Next, Bible Basics for Recovery, and that can be found in Dick B., Why Early AA Succeeded. Next, Healing Records Throughout the Bible. Next, 12-Step Sources. That is covered in Dick B., By the Power of God. Next, Taking the 12 Steps as a Christian. And that can be found in Dick B., 12 Steps for You. And then 3 more topics. Working with others, sponsorship, prisons, homeless, veterans, treatment programs, hospitals, and so forth. Next, sponsorship, peer guides, chaplains, interventionist counselors. And finally, community resources. And that is covered in our the Dick B. Handbook for Christian Recovery Resources Centers worldwide. All of the resources by author Dick B. and can be can be listed above may be purchased through the www.dickb.com website. And so you can see, as we said, there are a myriad of topics. The committee or the secretary has to be well versed in how to present each of them, and we would be happy to help. And that concludes this session.